Daniel, you've really turned the whole line into an expedition line. Where do you see, and expedition cruising right now, as you know, is really all the rage, although if you put all the, and Lisa, you have expedition cruising as well. If you put all the expedition ships together, I think we have 2 Royal Caribbean ships and maybe an MSC, I'm not sure. One ship. Where do you see expedition cruising going in the future?
Expedition cruising is something no one talked about 5 years ago. It was nothing. It was never talked about at Sea Trade, none of the big cruise conventions, and now it's on everyone's lips. And what's driving it is experiences. People are seeking experiences. And there's also a lot of talk now about the capacity coming into the industry. I'm not worried at all. The entire expedition cruise capacity coming into the business is the same bed capacity as the sister line of Lisa, Royal Caribbean's, one ship. So it's more than enough demand to fill those ships. I'm not worried. But a few trends for the entire travel industry and the cruise industry in particular that we see will be defining choices going forward. One of them is communities. We as an industry need to give back. We need to give back to the communities we serve. We need to make sure that all the places that we visit with our ships are thriving communities. I'm sorry to say it's not been like that in the cruise industry. It's been maximizing profits. And you're basically leaving communities behind without anything of the value generation. That's going to change.
I think it's changing. It's changing now.
It is changing, and we have to change because a good place to visit is a good place to live. So in order for our guests to have a good experience and not being thrown eggs after when they come, we really need to make sure that we are guests in these communities. That's a big trend. I hope the entire cruise industry goes in this direction, and we are certainly doing it. We are very much about giving back to these communities because we are guests. Another thing that you'll see, and which is not talked about that much yet, but will be on the radar, is food. Also sustainability within food. People will eat more healthy, and people want to eat in a way that doesn't harm the environment. So that's also going to be a mega trend of the next 10 years. We've changed our menu to accommodate that. We changed our menu. It's great food, but we also tell the stories about utilizing the full animal, not food waste, about utilizing a lot more food that does not harm the environment. Overcrowding. It's the elephant in the room that no one in the cruise industry wants to talk about. But when you discharge 3 ships with 6,000 people on board into a small community, it's not a good experience for the people who live there. It's not a good experience for the guests on board the cruise ship. It harms the industry, and it harms everyone who is trying to sell great trips to their guests. So this is just something we need to tackle. My take on it is that the biggest cruise ship is already ordered. The ships need to go down in size. Otherwise,
some of them are now. I think. Lisa, you're like half the size.
Thank you, James. Yeah.
So
no,
it's
true. I think we need to be measured in how we talk about some of these things.
People is still
Thank you, James.
Still a lot of people. So we need to handle that to give the good experiences that we want to give to our guests. Yeah. And overcrowding is a challenge the entire travel industry needs to handle.
That over-tourism, we call it here, as well, overcrowding, over-tourism. And I know
but it's, in general, I just want to summarize. I think the travel industry has some really, really good years ahead. If we can tackle these issues, if we can give these great experiences to our guests, we have a thriving future. When there is a lot of speak about the challenges of the travel industry, about pollution emissions from aviation, from cruise lines, my take on it is that without travel, the world would be a much more dangerous place. There would be a lot more wars fought. Travel is a great thing to get to know each other.